Hello and welcome once again to Harrow Park Model Railway. Today we're looking at Playcraft Railways from the mid-1960s. As you can see, the locomotive, diesel locomotive, resembles a Class 29, and you see the same locomotive here on the cover of the Playcraft catalogue. Just look through the catalogue a moment. There we are. I'll turn the page. Here we see 4 locomotives. 2 of them are French. Well, it looks like a Barclays diesel shunter, but that's definitely French. And up here we've got the Class 29. Well, I call it Class 29. It's got the same front with the sad eyes, the windows. Brass wheels with brass fittings. The other one is this one here, which it's got what remains of a British Railways emblem there, but it looks nothing like a British locomotive. Yeah. Just putting a British Railways emblem on it. Yeah, it's actually a clockwork one, but I haven't worked on it yet, so I haven't had it running. The nearest that actually comes to, if you want to run it on British rails, is this one. This is Hornby HO, a small shunter. These were made. The real ones I'm talking about, not the model. The real ones were made in America and shipped across from about 1942 onwards during World War II to replace shunting locomotives lost in the bombings from the Luftwaffe. In fact, a lot of them ended up in France from 1944 onwards. They went across with the invasion, and they were quite useful on the French railways, where most of the stuff had been destroyed. And I think 10 or 20 of them ended up on Southern railways and stayed there after the war and actually took on British Rail insignia. Well, I suppose you could say that this one is the nearest one that it resembles. But anyway, we're not running this one today because this was clockwork anyway, and it looks like it's totally rusted up. But it's in the catalogue here at the top, and it's Playcraft, so I thought I would show you it. It normally sits on a shelf in my display case with about 5 or 6 other clockwork locomotives, which don't run on my electric circuit. This one here, the M29, the Class 29, it's got the British Railways emblem here, and then a number D6100. See what I mean by with the windows there? It resembles the Class 29. What is interesting about this one, I'll show you the bottom of it now. It's all brass cogs and brass wheels, turned brass. Only one bogie is a drive, but the other one could have been a drive. I assume there was a economy measure where they took the drive away from the second set. But anyway, what actually happens when it runs and you turn it off, it'll keep running for about 4 or 5 foot. Same effect as if it had a flywheel in it. If I start it, well, I had it running on the main layout with, you would have seen it with the mail car. I'll just turn it on a minute. Right. Let it build up a bit of speed. And I'll turn it off now. And it just keeps running. Like it's got a flywheel fitted. So when using this one, you have to stop it about 3 foot before it reaches the platform. Otherwise, it will overshoot the station. So you really have to drive this thing. You might like to see inside. I haven't looked inside myself, but I'll do it now on camera. There seems to be 2 screws holding the body on, front and rear. 1 screw and another screw here. If they're fiddly, I'll probably put the screws back in off camera, but see if that lifts off. Yeah, it does lift off. There's the motor inside. In fact, it's got a cog at this end, but it's not connected to anything. So it could easily be converted to run on both bogies. There's the one that turns. In fact, let's see if I can put it on the rails. See there, it's running. There it goes. So I've turned it off, and it takes a while to get to come to a stop. There seems to be some sort of flywheel in there. It's encased. It's like a can motor. There's nothing you can, apart from oiling the cog, there's nothing, no servicing possible or anything because of this metal shell on it. I'll put the top back on now. I don't actually go out of my way to collect Playcraft, but I like anything from the 1960s. So if it comes my way, I'll tend to buy it and give it a try. Trying is my main hobby, but I do like Märklin, or as the Brits say, Marklin, because they pronounce it different. But I do like Märklin and Hornby HO, Hornby 00. In fact, anything from that period. So I'll put it back on once more to see if it's all working all right. Oh, there's two sets of couplings. There's the hook couplings, which was the later version, and the here we see the German couplings, or the Pico couplings. This end we've got the early Playcraft couplings, which resemble in style. It's the baggage, that's the Royal Mail car. I don't have the operating parts to it that go on the track. The coupling resembles the early Hornby 00 couplings. So there are two sets of couplings on them. That's the Royal Mail version. Oh, and the scale is HO and not OO. There is a fine difference in the scale length and scale height. There's a normal carriage, a standard carriage. What I will do, I do have some more here. So another standard carriage. They got different numbers. One's 15100, first class. Looks like composite. Yeah, it's composite carriage. And the other one is M4372. And that's in HO scale. Here's the restaurant car. I've got a restaurant car as well. These were made in France by Youth in France for Playcraft. Made in France. And here's a Hornby, well, sorry, a Triang Hornby Mark 1 carriage. And you see the difference in the height. I'll put them end on end, because the length could vary, because perhaps they weren't to scale length. But looking at the two there, the small one is the HO and the larger end is the 00. Of course, they use the same gauge track, 16.5 millimeters. It's actually this track, the gauge on the track, all the track that Triang and Hornby use are all really for HO gauge, 16.5 millimeters, because OO, technically speaking, 4 millimeters to the foot, should actually be 18 millimeters wide, 1.5 millimeters more than what the track actually is. Whereas 16.5 millimeter is HO, which is actually 3.5 millimeters to the foot. Okay, that was the Playcraft. Where did I put? There it is, the catalogue. I've actually got this catalogue either as a download, or you can read it on my website under downloads, under the section catalogues. I've got the Playcraft catalogue there. But we can have a quick look through it before I close the video. I'm sorry the video was a day late. I had a heavy vertigo attack yesterday, and I was laying in bed all day, so I couldn't do any filming yesterday. Normally I try to get my films out on a Monday, but today's come out on a Tuesday because of illness. There we see the carriages. They did do sort of a Western region, Western livery, but I haven't seen any of them, and I haven't seen the green ones. I've only got the maroon ones. I do have the Pullman cars, restaurant cars. In fact, I got 8 of them, and I've got 8 restaurant cars without any sleeping cars. So any passengers on my Pullman trains are going to have plenty to eat but nowhere to sleep. So, and there's a lot of French stuff in here. Well, it's a lot of French railway stuff. What have we got here? Oh, they've got the Class 29. They don't call it a Class 29. I call it that because it resembles one, but they just call it a British diesel. And they've got it here with 3 maroon carriages. And I've got the 3 carriages here, which I showed you earlier. And it's called the Euston Passenger Set. And they've also got the same locomotive with a goods set called the Stratford goods set, and several others with the other locomotives there. It's got here clockwork locomotives. They've got 2. One, the diesel shunter, the 040 diesel shunter, looks a bit like the Barclay diesel shunter. Was that the Class 04 or the 06? One of the 2. And then it's got various. I do have some of the goods wagons, but they don't run very well. They're a bit light, and they don't run very well on the Triang track. There we see the. Where are you? Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. There we are. There we see the Royal Mail travelling post office set. But I don't have the stationary part that clips onto the rail. Royal Mail, Elizabeth Reign, made in France. It's a bit redder there, a bit darker in the picture. Right, so that was a brief look, a very brief look at my few items of Playcraft that I've got, and you've seen it running. You've looked at the motor, and I do like the diesel. It's actually very, very reliable. I've never had it break down or stop on me. It's pretty good crossing points and crossovers, and well, reliability, I suppose you could say. It's reliable. As cheap as it is, and so much of a toy as it is, it's reliable. Okay, so that was a look at Playcraft. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again. I'll say goodbye now. Bye bye.